Gates Jr. reloading. Going to load some 223 today. So the first thing we're going to do is take some 223 cases that I've already got ready here. And let's put them in here. And then give us about 100. Okay. Then we're going to get this ready here. And I'll put in my little stop here so I don't get these fed in yet until I'm ready. Alright, so I got a case already in here and primed. I gotta check the powder measure on it and make sure it's at where I want it. And let's move it over here to station 4. And let's just take a look here. Alright. Sorry guys, I don't necessarily show my loads just for liability reasons. But I do measure things, and I want to make sure that my load is accurate, which it does appear to be right where I want it to be. Perfect. Okay, so we are going to run with that right there, and I am going to rock and roll here. Let's set that out of the way. Okay, let's get this one out of the way before we start getting into full production here. The case is already loaded, primers are already loaded, so I'm going to take this one that we already have ready and let's get him out of the way. The powder cop at this point I'm not using for 223. Now what we're going to do here is we're just going to make sure, since these are cantilevered, that we are where we need to be on the cantilever, which it is just showing on the top, which is where I want it. Let's take a quick measurement here. Before we again get into full production, you can see this is zeroed out. And let's see where we're at here. Should be around 2.20, and we are at 2.203, which is fine enough for me. Let's go ahead and cycle that then to the next station. Let me put the pin back in here. All right. And let's put a crimp on that. And let's look at our finished ammo. Okay, the next thing I like to do is let's take a measurement just below the crimp, which I'm going to show is like 246. Something like that, and then right around the crimp, oops, sorry, went a little high there, it's very difficult on camera, 245, all right, which is where I want to be, about a thousandths, just a light crimp. Okay, next thing we're going to do is take our case gauge here. This is a Dillon 223 Remington case gauge. We're going to check it. We're going to make sure that it sets under here to the left, but is flush here to the right, which it is. We also want to check the bottom, and as you can see, the length is correct. We don't have brass sticking up from the bottom, and it should fall again within that line right there to your right, which it does. So that's a good one. That's our first completed round. So now that we've checked all that, let's start moving into production here. We got our primers ready in station 2. case is loaded in station 1, and let's rock and roll. Let me remove the case here. All right, let's cycle that, and up, here we go. Okay, again, these have been already cleaned and deprimed and sized. And we are, seat the primer, always push forward as you're coming up on the upstroke. And then you want to make sure that you're doing just smooth motions. You want to be consistent with everything that you do. And you always, again, push up. And just eyeballing everything here in the powder, which it looks to be good. One of the things I like about the progressives is it would be near impossible to double charge these, just because it's cycling, right? And as long as you're doing what you should be doing and you're cycling things as we are here, you shouldn't have any issues with double charges. And again, always make sure that you're doing the same full motions up and down. And if you ever leave the press, like this, where you got things moving and things loaded, I always come back and make sure I do a firm push forward or up to make sure that you don't miss a primer or something like that, because when I was beginning, I definitely did that, and it's not fun to have powder everywhere. Okay, I just had a case tip here, and again, you gotta pay attention. See that primer right there didn't seat? So in that situation, again, what you want to do is get that in there, okay, and then push up. So you always want to check stuff. Now the other thing with Dillon's, you don't ever want to force anything. It'll tell you if something's not right. It'll tell you. All right. And then we just keep moving, man. Keep on moving. Yes, sir. Man, I've had too much coffee today. These little bullets putting in here doesn't help when I've had like 4 cups of coffee today and a couple pops. That's not helping at all. So this is the way we do it. Now, you'll notice I'm not in a big race here, guys. I'm just taking my time and remind me next time not to have so much caffeine, because you know, the older you get too, the less your body tolerates stuff like that. When I was young, man, you can do whatever you wanted, but as you get older, it's just not the way things work anymore. And I definitely had too much caffeine today, because I'm feeling it, and you guys are seeing some of it, which is kind of funny. So it's funny because I also called Dillon today. I notice with this ball powder, which is CFE 223, I don't notice as much like on my 9mm and stuff with that tight group, which is what I use. Well, the flake instead of a ball. But I noticed I was getting a little more spill on this, and so Steve over at Dillon, which I didn't know this, you know, on the powder return safety arm over here, he said to put a case that was fired that still had the primer in it. Again, not a live primer, obviously. And he said put it in station 2, and he says push up like you're going to seat the primer, and he says hold that, and he says tighten the spring all the way down until the springs all touch each other. You don't want to obviously bend it, but you want to get them so they're all touching. And he says do 2 full turns out from that. I didn't know that. Everybody's always said business card or whatever. Well, we just lost one here. Let's see what happened. It looks like, let me take a look here. And again, let's push up. All right, let's see here. Okay. I don't see any powder, and I don't see anything in there. So I don't know what happened there. All right, again, push up. And let's see what we get here. I'm gonna have to watch on camera what happened there. I didn't catch that. So anyway, that's what Steve was saying. We are moving right along here. And again, I'm not in a big race. I'm just loading them up here. It looks like we just had a bunch of powder spill is what happened there. So now I got a mess to clean up. Big old powder spill. go back and look, watch that video, because I don't know why it tilted like that. Oh, there it is again. See? Something is happening here. I don't know, why is it doing that? I'm gonna take a look at this. Maybe this cartridge has something weird with it. Let me set that to the side. Again, push up. Alright, just making sure here. We're getting quite the load over here. Might have to empty this soon. Looks like we're getting close though. That part it does. Alright, I think the cases are done. I don't hear any. Well, we're getting a couple. I think we're close though. I try to do 100 at a time just so I can keep track of primers and everything else. Okay, I'd say that's done. Let's get this in. So anyway, guys, you're with me through the whole process here, even the one dumping on us. All right, push up. Let's just make sure. Now this is where I start keeping an eye on things here. So as an example, that appears to be the last one, and it does have a primer. So I want to make sure before we get powder up in there. And there is one left in there. I can see the primer, so that is the one I set to the side. All right. So we're winding down here on these. All right. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this one. See what happens here if we try to seat this primer. Oh, look at that. Huh. Did you see that bounce? Look at that. All right, now the question is, can I get it in there? I did. Yeah, that one was a little. Make Make sure that's in there like it should be, which it does look like it. You're seeing what I'm seeing. It was a little odd though, wasn't it? Okay, so anyway, get some powder in that one. Ooh. Wow, we're getting low here. Let's take a look and make sure that I'm still getting what I should be here. Okay, so, wow, we got right down there, didn't we? Uh-huh. Okay. Well, let's see what we get here. And again, this doesn't have the powder cop turned on right now. All right. And let's go ahead and see this. All right. All right, guys, that is it. And there you have it. 300 of them. So now I'm going to case gauge check them all. Okay, let me just say that was a big freaking mess. Okay. That looks good. Good. That was a mess, man. A freaking mess. Jeez. I can't believe the amount of powder that came out of that. Alright, so these are looking good, guys. So let me get through the rest of these. Check them and get back to you. Okay, now what I like to do is I lean them, make sure they're all leaning the same way. And then we take a look at these primers and just make sure that everything is seated correctly. We don't have any that are sticking out or not at the depth they should be. Just eyeballing it. So that is the last step in the process prior to running with it. Now, one thing I can see just looking at this, and which is why we do this, is right here, it appears there is something a little off with that. Now, take a look at it. It looks like a couple little dimples. Couple little dimples in there. I don't think that's going to hurt anything. Again, you can see that on a couple of them. But again, I don't think it's anything that'll hurt it, but it does indicate that there could be something on the primer seat, and I will take a look at that and clean it off. And so these are kinds of things like this you want to take a look for, like that. We see a little bit of a dimple, like that. Okay, that's it, guys. Gates Jr. out, and please leave me comments, suggestions, and God bless you and your family, and subscribe. Thank you.